Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 474 of the DrunkNerds podcast. As always, I'm Tyler. Join me. We have the man, the myth, the legend, Sir Colonel. I did it my way, Gables. What is up, buddy?
Man, I'll tell you what, I am so fucking exhausted after this week. Work, pretty much living up to what it is, pretty much like so-so in regards to like a covering for people and this and that and stuff. I mean, granted, glad I got a paycheck. I mean, but it's just one of those hard working type of weeks and stuff where it's like you work, you do all this various shit, and then like at the end of the week, you are ready just to conk out for like about fucking 10 hours and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, though, gameplay wise, I had been playing a little bit of stuff on my Switch. Was not able to get Pokemon Legends Arceus like I wanted to, but at the same time, it's not the end of the world. At least I'll go forth and I'll find it eventually.
Yes, it is. If you truly did it your way, Gables, you would have got it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah.
What would what would Fred Durst and Frank Sinatra say?
Oh god, they probably would have driven all the way up to like the fucking Nintendo's headquarters. I demand, hey, I want Pokemon Legend Arceus, son of a bitch.
Yeah, yeah. They would have went to Nintendo, killed Chaos, and got Pokemon Legends Arceus. People don't know what I'm referring to. I made Gables because I had to watch it. I didn't really have to watch it, but I watched it. And I don't know why. Normally I don't do this, but I watched the new Strangers in Paradise Final Fantasy Origins trailer. That's 5 minutes long.
Mm.
And about 3 minutes in, it gets real good. And I'm like, Gables, you got to watch this with me. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but you'll know when you get there. And my golly, did he know. About 3 minutes in, spoiler, just go watch this yourself. But they just start randomly playing Frank Sinatra's My Way. And it's fantastic. And I theorized before the podcast that maybe because in the demo they randomly just started playing a Limp Bizkit song. So my theory is that they decided to get My Way for this trailer, but PR got the wrong My Way and got Sinatra's instead of Limp
I
Bizkit's
would not doubt that
version.
at all.
And I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I'm going to believe happened, was that they got the wrong My Way. But I'm fine with this reality, but I would love to be in the alternate reality when they just double down that Limp Bizkit is the Final Fantasy of music. Much like Halo is now the Xbox Kingdom Hearts of video gaming, where the story doesn't make you gotta read every book, you gotta play every game, every mobile game, every Halo Wars to understand it. You gotta listen to every album of Limp Bizkit and play every Final Fantasy to understand it. And this is where we're at. Kill Chaos. In the end, kill Chaos. Chaos equals Fred Durst.
But other than that, though, it's like
I don't know what I just
I
did
don't
there,
know.
Gables. I just talked for
I
two
like
minutes, and I don't know where I just made shit up as I
I could
talked.
swear that probably some of our listeners are just crossing their eyes and try to cross brain cells now.
They've
They're
left.
like, what the
It's just
fuck?
us.
But
Gables, they're gone. I killed them.
but
They're
up
dead. Chaos was our listeners, and I killed
but
them.
with the update in the news and stuff like that during our whole league or fantasy league that we got going right here,
Mm-hmm.
four games were
I was about to
four
talk
games
about
were
that.
bid on and stuff like that, but because of notification issues and some that both of us were not aware of,
Yeah, I'm gonna look
I
that up
end
real
up
quick. See.
actually like bidding on a couple like four games and stuff like that, actually winning. I spent a total of like maybe $10 at most, and
Yep.
I ended up getting Moss Book 2, Neon White, Ollie World that releases not too long from now, and like the last one is like uh the Little Devil or something of that sort. Fuck. It's the one that was
Little Devil Inside.
Little Devil Inside, the game that was showcased in that
Yeah.
last PlayStation Direct. But yeah, I am pretty happy in regards to going through with the
Yeah.
picks that I did end up getting. Neon White obviously was the number one that I wanted to try to get because that game actually looks pretty good. It looks,
Yep. You put a whole $5 down on that
yeah,
one. Yep. Yeah. So you got Minion Online for $5, All the Other World for two, Moss Book 2 for one, and Little Devil Inside for two. Um. Yeah. So I looked at my emails. I didn't get an email about it. So there's the way we have set up our league is that I think it's like Saturday through Tuesday we bid on
hmm
whatever, and we put down it's a silent bid. But after from Wednesday to Saturday, it will tell us. So if I bid on a game, it'll tell me on like Wednesday that Gables, or if I bid on a game, it'll tell Gables on Wednesday, hey, Tyler bid on this game, but it will not tell him the amount that I bid. So then he has to he can counter bid if he wants, but I could have bid $2 and he wouldn't know.
Right.
So if he bids 30, he wins it, but he loses $30 and he'll never know what I bid. But it's supposed to let us know. I'm guessing we have to go to the website to check because I got no emails about it. So I had no idea that Gables even bid on anything until right before the podcast. So yeah, Gables
Yeah,
got
I
those
would.
four. Which to be fair, I don't think I think all the other world and Neon Light I might have counterbid you on, but the other two I would not
Right.
have. But I bid on something. I'll let Gables know I bid on something, and in 4 days
Yep.
he'll find out what it is. But he does not know how much I bid. But I can't wait for him to find out what I bid, and if he decides to counterbid me or not. But right now, we're not going to do this every week, but it's a brand new thing we're doing, and I figured every so often we'll maybe like every couple weeks, every once a month we'll update you guys. But as of right now, it is we've we each we each drafted 20 games. If you saw the podcast, Gables has now added 4 games to his. We get 32 spots, so now he has 24
Yep.
spots filled. So far, he's only had 1 game come out, Windjammers 2. That's sitting at a
Mm-hmm.
77, so we got 7 points. As of right now, I've had 3 of my games come out. Pokemon Legends Arceus, which I'll talk about a little later. I got an 84, so I got 14. Rainbow Six Extraction, every time I look at it, keeps
Yep.
losing points. It's now I've only got 2 points out of it, and then Nobody Saves the World sitting at an 80, so I got 10 points in that. I actually did play that I got to put a solid 5 hours into that. So right now, I'm just crushing him. It's 26-7. Gables, you might as well give up now.
Slow and steady wins the
Um,
race. So I'm
yeah,
going to do the best that
yeah,
I can in
but
regards to scouting.
yeah. So yeah, we're gonna do some scouting. I hired some people. We're gonna look into it. But the next I was telling Gables before the show, the next month that we have a combined 10 games coming out that are on our list
Yeah.
so far, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them are mine. 4 of them are of his. So it'll be pretty crazy. So yeah, so I got Dying Light 2, Sifu, Total War, Warhammer 3, Horizon Forbidden West, The Witch Queen, and Gran Turismo 7. Gables has Triangle Strategy, Elden Ring, King of Fighters 15, and All the Other World.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be a pretty fun little stretch here coming up. So um, we're blowing through our draft picks fairly
Yeah,
quickly
we
here,
are
but
actually.
yeah, but that's part of the draft. We can't drop any games that we draft. So sometimes you gotta play it safe with those games. So yeah, right now I'm just dominating up by 19 points early on. 1 month in. So hopefully we can keep that pace going. But we'll see. But anyways, this is the Drunk Dressers podcast where we talk about video games, and I drink some beer every so often. Not really digging this beer. It's a Confluence Des Moines IPA.
Okay.
Um, not loving it. Not loving it. But it's hitting the spot. I did realize though a little bit ago I did not eat dinner tonight, so it's hitting a little harder than normal. It's also at 7% alcohol, so kind of high
Ooh, yeah.
percentage, and I'm on an empty stomach, so not the smartest ideas you've ever done, Tyler. I'm probably as soon as this podcast is over, it is midnight already my time. Gables and I spent the last like 4 hours just bullshitting on Skype and watching wrestling. So I'm probably I got a bag of Tostito chips in there. Probably gonna smash that whole bag before I go to bed. But anyways, this, like I said, Drunk Dressers podcast where we talk about video games. So let's get into some news here, Gables. Not a lot going on, to be honest with you. Kind of this is what we expect from a
Yeah.
January. We don't get the Activision Blizzard game bought by Microsoft very often. Once in never that happens. So we talked about last week. We had the NPDs for 2021 all together, but we didn't have the December ones. So I thought it would be smart to go ahead and talk about the December ones. I thought it'd be kind of maybe not smart, but fun. So I went back and looked it up real fast. So here's the top 20 for the month of December. Breath of the Wild, number 20, 19, Super Mario 3D World. Number 18, Ghost of Tsushima. Number 17, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 16, Forza Horizon 5. Number 15, Just Dance 2022. It's still weird for me to say that. 14 Far Cry 6, 13 Minecraft, 12 Smash Bros. Ultimate. Smash Bros. Ultimate actually jumped from 21 to 12. I just want to
Wow.
mention that. FIFA 22, 11. Number 10, Animal Crossing New Horizon. Number 9, NBA 2K22. Number 8, Mario Superstars, Mario Party Superstars. Sorry. Number 7, Miles Morales. Number 6, Mario Kart 8. Number 5, Battlefield 2042. Number 4, Madden NFL 22. Number 3, sticking at the exact same spot it was in November, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Number 2, brand new game. Only brand new game on this list. Be fair, it's December. Not a lot of new games come out. Halo Infinite. And number 1, sorry, Call of Duty Vanguard. So, I don't know. Not a lot of surprises here. Like I said, only one new game, Halo Infinite. Um, Pokemon sticking at that spot, number 3. No real surprise. I mean, I don't know. We got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Nintendo games in the top
Mm-hmm.
20. Um, okay, just Super Mario 3D World jumped from 29 to 19. It's very rare you see games pop back up into the top
Right.
20. Usually, once they fall out, they stay out. But I always find those interesting. It's kind of like, well, what's that workout Switch game?
Oh, Ring Fit
Fit
Adventure.
Ring Fit. There was that month, like a couple months into the what are we in right now?
Yeah.
Pandemic. That thing. Um, like a couple months into the pandemic, it went from like 512th to like
Yeah.
12th, and like because everybody's like, oh, we're stuck at home, gyms are closed. I got this new Switch. I'm tired of playing Animal Crossing. I need to work out. Oh, Ring Fit Adventure. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, anything you want to add on this one,
Okay,
Gables?
to be perfectly honest with you, there's really nothing too much I can add to it because for one, it's fairly straightforward. I mean, these were type of like sales that we were coming to and expected, having like Call of Duty Vanguard being at number 1, Halo Infinite. I'm actually surprised to see at number 2, but at the same time, it's one of the more positive Halo games to come out in recent years. But it also nothing really rings true in regards to being surprising considering how many sales were going on. So games like Spider-Man Miles Morales had price cuts, games like Madden had price cuts, like for the holiday season stuff in general. So it really wasn't too much of a surprise for like December, but
Yeah,
at the same time, it's definitely a strong showing in regards to the initial launch month for Halo Infinite and definitely for the consistency of Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. So, yeah, pretty much.
yeah. I mean, I think it's just really impressive to see. Like we know this already. We've seen this consistently now this year, where even though a game comes out day one on Game Pass, it still sells very, very well. And sometimes maybe being on Game Pass, it sells better because of that. Like we've MLB The Show, Outriders, Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite. We see consistently these bigger games come out, and they come out and they do really well. I mean, obviously we can't. It's Halo and it's Forza, and Halo being this has been a very much anticipated Halo game for the most anticipated Halo game since Halo 3 in 2007. Um, so it's hard to like be too shocked by it, but it's very impressive, especially when this is like the multiplayer is free to play, so people aren't buying this. This is people just buying essentially the campaign, and it coming out. I mean, I know it's December, but still coming out number 2 is very impressive. Um, 13th straight year here, Call of Duty has been the number 1 selling game of the year. I think they had number 1 and 2 spot as well. I'm reading some notes here. So, yeah, like Halo, strong debut despite free to play multiplayer, like I just mentioned, being on Game Pass. But as we saw with Forza, players will show up to buy many of these new games. Just kind of want to go through here. This is pretty funny here. Pokemon is one of a handful of franchises that probably does have an annual consistency of Call of Duty, just fewer assault rifles. That's very funny. Um, but yeah, third best selling game of 2021, and it's already one of the best selling games of the year of 2021. That is. I want to just run through some of this. I want to kind of look at this as we go here. I'm reading this as we go for the first time. Um, Top 10 selling games of December for Nintendo platforms. 1 Pokemon, 2 Mario Kart, 3 Mario Party Superstars. Which is Mario Party Superstars? That's the new
Yes,
one,
that's the
correct?
new one that has the collection of the N64 mini games
Yeah,
to
and
it.
that just that just came out in
Yeah,
October, right?
that really.
And it was the third best selling game of the month, number two the previous month. So I mean, that's cool to see that going. Huh, interesting. Animal Crossing number 4, Smash Bros. Ultimate number 5, Just Dance number 6, Mario 3D World number 7. No Metroid.
No Metroid Dread at all.
I'm not I don't care about Metroid at all, to be honest with you. But it's not like I'm not talking. People love it. I'm fine with that. I'm just kind of depressed to see that like October it did awesome, and it has not been in the top 10 of Nintendo games since October, since its launch month. So
Mm.
I don't know. I was kind of bummed out about that. It dropped out of the top 20 overall sales after October, and it dropped out of Nintendo's top 10 sales after October.
Mm.
So I can't wait till we get to Nintendo's their quarterly updates. We should be getting I think next month sometime, next month or early March, because I do want to see how that sold, because I really hope that I just want to see it do well, because I want people will seem to love it, and I want I want to keep making Metroid games for people. It's the first new Metroid game in what 15
Yep.
years. I know we got Prime 4 coming, but yeah, I don't know. I just want to see that keep coming. Call of Duty Vanguard number 1 on PlayStation. No shock there. We talked about that last week. It was number 1 and 3 best selling game of the year for PlayStation, with Vanguard and Black Ops Cold War. Wow, Halo Infinite outsold Call of Duty on Xbox.
Wow,
Um,
that's a first.
Very impressive. Yeah, very impressive for A, just beating out Call of Duty, but 2, being a Game Pass game and beating out Call of Duty. So Black Ops Cold War was number 10 on Xbox. Um, Black Ops Cold War did not finish in the top 10 on PlayStation though. So hey, Guardians of the Galaxy though finished at number
Yeah.
10, so that's good. Glad the game's still selling. Please, full of a God, people buy that game. That game is
Yep.
fantastic. But yeah, I just want to go through that and read that. NPDs I love talking. I love going through them every month. It's always interesting, kind of just see like, because it's hard sometimes, being in a shit. My Google Chrome is frozen, so I'm gonna talk through as fixed. Yeah, there goes fix itself. But sometimes it's hard. Sometimes when like as being like these hardcore gamers, we listen to podcasts, read the news, follow Twitter, blah blah blah. Or I know Gables isn't on Twitter, but I am. But like as some of that like as both of us that we really kind of we watch a lot of YouTube videos. We listen to people. We listen to the conversations, stuff like that. Sometimes it's hard because we get stuck in that bubble
Yep.
of like, why do people like just like Call of Duty isn't that big a deal anymore, or maybe like these like it's just hard sometimes you forget about how big things are, and I love NPDs for that reason because it reminds us once a month of just how big, like, even though we bitch about like microtransactions like NBA 2K or Madden, even though I love Madden, but like people bitch about, and we like, why do people like, or like, oh, these things suck or whatever, but like they sell so well, or like Call of Duty, oh, it's that game, that franchise isn't what it used to be, but it's still the biggest franchise
Yeah.
in gaming and stuff like that. But like I always like NPDs because it's kind of like it gives us that little bit of taste of reality of like, no, like these things still do super well. People still love them. Just because it's not in our echo chamber, I guess, for lack of a better term, doesn't mean that they're not popular. That's why I love NPDs. That's why I talk about them every month, because I like to have that kind of evidence there. Like, no, there's a big offset of like people that a very big offset of people that just they buy the new Call of Duty every year. That 2007 ish era, excuse me, of like video gaming where it was just like I have a lot of friends I've talked about, like they buy the they buy 2-3 games a year, and that's it. And like they would buy like the big, they buy the sports game and they buy the Call of Duty and maybe the Halo and maybe Gears of War, and that's it. Like that, those are the games they buy. And that genre still exists. Even with like we see free to play games like Warzone, Apex, Fortnite, shit like that. Those things still exist. Although I do want to point out that rest in peace, to Hyperscape from Ubisoft. Um, I hate doing this, Gables. I just gotta
Okay.
talk about it. I love that one of the main guys at Ubisoft. One of this huge thing about how people that don't like NFTs just don't get it, and I'm just like, look at Ubisoft there chasing this fucking big trend as they chase, free to play online character shooter game, Hyperscape, and watch that die. As we see them with X Defiant, which is their Call of Duty knockoff free to play game coming out here soon. That's probably going to die. They have another one, Assassin's Creed Infinite. That's probably going to come out and die. Like the kings of chasing a trend. Uh, Not to be outdone by EA and 2K, motherfucking Ubisoft chasing. Oh, you got a new hardware coming out? We'll put a thing on there. Looking at you, Amazon Luna. Looking at you, Google Play. Looking at you, Wii U. Um, we'll just dump a bunch of content on this thing and charge you full price for it. Look at you guys chasing a buck and blowing up in your face. Fuck you. Um, yeah. So I just had to talk about that. I can't. I tried to have like a zero NPD talk or NPT. I love talking about NPDs. NFT talk. Sorry, I'm a beer and a half in. There, I'm not lying. Kicking my ass right now. Uh, but yeah. I just, god damn it, I just can't help it. When I read that, I'm like, fuck off. Like the same week they announced Hyperscape, which they literally sent out and it just died
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah, I did.
They, you don't understand. No, we understand. Just like you guys understood Hyperscape was a dead game as soon as it came out. But anyways, moving on here. Fuck NFTs. Fuck Hyperscape. I don't feel bad about you. I do want to talk about this. Maybe we should have started with this one, Gables. E3 might not be a thing at all this year.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about it a couple weeks ago. I tried talking about it, but I was like literally dealing with COVID and like dying mid conversation, and I don't remember my at all. Like I was like coughing through my conversation of it. Yeah. So we talked about it a couple weeks ago that like the physical thing was quietly canceled months ago, and they were trying to use like COVID as an excuse for not happening. When they announced like so they decided late like fall of last year they weren't going to do a public event uh, in 2022. Nothing to do with COVID. They just weren't going to do it. Whether it's incompetence, maybe didn't want to risk paying for a arena or whatever, and then COVID happening or something happened. Maybe just not selling tickets and then can't get their money back. Whatever. So now it sounds like they're just like much like 2020. A lot of people were thinking, oh, we'll have a E3 2021 all over again. Maybe it'll be better though this year. That's the kind of thing we all talked about was like E3 2021. Like I would much rather take what we had, despite all the bullshit we had, Gables. Looking at you, Capcom. Looking at you, fucking Borderlands devs. Looking at you, everybody else that wasn't Xbox, and Nintendo. Um, and Summer Game Fest, which isn't part of E3, I guess. But sounds like there might just not be an E3 at all this year, which it's seems like this is all reportedly from Jeff Grubb. As of right now, it sounds like they're really struggling with getting everybody together and working together to make an E3 this year because it's like all these companies are looking like, why would we be a part of
Yeah.
E3?
Yeah,
Like
really.
you're a dying brand. If it's like like you were slowly dying and COVID just kind of sped that up. Of you just now you're dead. So it sounds like Jeff Keighley with the Summer Game Fest is trying to he might be taking over the reins of bringing them everybody together and do his best to like essentially make a Google Calendar. The thing that we wanted in 2020, the thing we kind of got in 2021, but maybe it sounds like he'll do a better, hopefully a better job of like just not taking everybody that will put E3 on their name. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, what's your thoughts on the fact that maybe E3 is not happening this year and maybe E3 is just not coming back?
It doesn't surprise me in the least. I mean, considering from what last year and especially during like 2019 or something like that, the amount of shit and stuff that was present inside of the actual E3 convention stuff, we've already known for like over the past few years and stuff that this Electronic Entertainment Expo and stuff was winding on down and stuff in terms of its not only its popularity, but also in terms of like willing companies that wanted to showcase their games during this event in general. So having it not be like showcased at all, it's no surprise. Every company literally
Yeah.
has a Nintendo Direct style of video presentation stuff that they want to go forth and put out. The only difference is this time around and stuff, since it's not going to be E3, it's going to be either Summer's Games Fest, or it could be like a week before the event, or it could be a week after, like the initial E3 stuff and stuff. But the point being is like gaming companies now, if they want to present like a major thing, a major gaming thing that get gamers excited, they're going to do it whenever they please. They'll upload it onto their YouTube page, or maybe it's going to be an update on one of their social media pages and stuff like that, and people will know almost right exactly when as they post it. So it for E3, it's a relic of a bygone era. I mean, this was definitely something that was introduced back around as early as 94, I want to say 1994, and it was the convention stuff that you would walk into the events or like a CES or any other type of major like electronics events and stuff you would showcase and like show off games. It was smaller in scope in that time frame, but it soon evolved into this huge spectacle that we all remember, well, most of us remember, that grew up in the 90s and the 2000s, because it was something we would look forward to literally almost every year, from
Yeah.
reading from gaming magazines to watching on then like Ziff Davis TV. Oh gosh. And there were definitely some great moments of E3. There were definitely some horrendous moments that most of us seem to remember. Oh
Konami.
God, yes, Konami. That's just one of oh,
99
oh
Nights.
yes, yes. It's one of a slew of infamous moments inside that whole E3 event's history. So it is sad seeing E3. Oh God,
Skittles.
and also Mr. Caffeine. But anyway,
Yeah.
but the fact remains is like, yeah, E3 definitely is winding down. If it ends, it ends. I mean, quite honestly, I'm ready for the thing to pass on in and of itself. But at the same point, it's like for those that are interested in learning about the history and the lore of this whole E3 event and seeing some of the best highs and the best lows of that event, I mean, definitely go onto YouTube, check out a few videos. Maybe there's some documentary stuff upon the events itself. But for those young gamers that are listening into our show and stuff like that, there was literally a time where we would not hear anything remotely common in regards to gaming information, and our slew of gaming information came from gaming magazines, from word of mouth, like from our friends on the playground, or even like certain game shops,
Your uncle that worked at
and
Nintendo.
or the whole infamous, oh yeah, my uncle works at Nintendo and he said this, and that,
Mm.
that old type of shit. Plus early internet shit where you go on to message boards and stuff and try to learn about new information, this and that. But yeah, it was a time where people looked forward every year during 1 week for video games in
Yeah.
J- June mindset, and we would know for a fact, oh hey, this is exactly what I want to get in November, or this is exactly what I'm going to be getting next year, and
Yeah.
well, yeah, it is what it is. Time moves on, and so has E3.
Yeah. It's I'm very sad about it because I love E3. I'm always gonna love E3. Um, I know there's a lot of people that I don't. There's a lot of people out there that like talk shit about it. I don't really get it because I love it. What's not to love about it? It's just commercials, marketing. I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's still fucking
Yeah.
fun as hell. 100 million people a year watch Super Bowl to literally watch commercials that don't give a fuck
No
about
shit.
football. Um, like to watch Dorito and Budweiser commercials for 3 hours. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I love it. I'm gonna like if it's gone, I'm super sad about it. Uh, like I even with as bad, I will take the lows of last year just to have the even just a sniff of the highs of what we got Sunday. It
Yeah.
was like, and like it's crazy as like our first podcast ever was us talking about E3
Yes, it
2013.
was.
Um, like I remember like us podcasting for a long time and the doldrums of the summer, uh, where you had like 1 or 2 weeks in June of just like a crazy amount of content of just all kinds of fucking news dropped. No games were coming out in the summer. No news was in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some delays, and that was like all. I remember like just those first few years of podcasting, um, in like 2013, 2014, 2015, like where you got maybe if you're lucky 1 or 2 bigger games to talk about, maybe a little bit of news to talk about, but it's like the whole like the first half of the year was like here's all the games that got delayed that didn't quite make Q4. Talk about those. Here's E3. Nothing until September. Like mid June to September was just like we just gotta find shit to talk about for an hour. But even just as a gamer, it was just like that was like E3 was the thing that like you had like out of podcasting. It's just like as a fan, whereas like that was the thing that you had to like look forward to. That was the thing that was like your motivation. That was not motivation, but that was like your boost you needed to like here's what to look forward to for the next year, the next 6 months. And that's the thing you like, that's what as a gamer, that's what you fed upon. um when like you're sitting there in fucking mid-August and you're like I haven't played a new game in like 4 months. Like I just want something new to play. And like that was the thing you fed upon. Like, all right, cool, we know what's happening the rest of the year. That was your calendar
Yep.
right there. And it's like, here's all these fun fucking badass games coming. And sometimes, they didn't live up to the hype. Sometimes they got delayed. Sometimes they just we got announced and never heard about it again. I don't know. I hope that like if Summer Game Fest does take over that, I'm hoping that just takes it over because like I said, I will take a what we had last year over nothing at all. Like 2020 sucked for a lot of reasons, but even for like just that summer of just like everybody's like, oh, we're gonna do our own thing this year, and we did our own thing. We're gonna have all these indie events. We're gonna have all these smaller events. Everybody's gonna do their own fucking thing. We're gonna see the same all these games at 10 different events. Just no like cohesion, no working together here. It's like if Jeff Keighley could just like, hey, even if it's just like a month, like, hey, we're gonna do this. Here's when you're gonna do it, and just have it. But I would take like I would love to have like a good 4 days of just like craziness than even a summer or a month. I want it. I don't want to lose it. It's one of those things where I think like we all like we a lot of gamers talk shit about and bitch about it. Um, but I'd rather bitch about a bad E3 than have no
Yeah.
E3 at all. That's my opinion. So yeah, I just don't get it when people like say goodbye, good riddance kind of shit. I'm just like, why? Like, what's so bad about it? I don't understand it. But Gables, I want you to kind of take over this one for
All
me.
right.
So you posted this in here. Um, so we've had a lot of stuff going on here with PlayStation lately, where we've seen like games pop up on the PS5 on like PS5 store and the PlayStation Store in general. Like PS4, PS3 games with prices. We've seen trophies pop up. We've seen all these weird like glitches going
Mm.
on lately. So you put so I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
All right. So the article I posted upon was something weird that happened during the last week on the PlayStation Store, not just the PlayStation Store, but just the PSN in general, to where it was like a late Friday night or whatsoever. For some odd reason, there was a glitch where all the PS4 trophies glitched and they were showing PS3. And it was just like a random odd type of shit. But it was honestly corrected like during the next morning and stuff like that. But at the same time, it puts more fuel to the fire of potential backwards compatibility in regards to, say, PlayStation 3 and older generation of like PlayStation games, possibly being a part of like a supposed Game Pass like service from PlayStation in general. I mean, obviously, with like the price tags popping up on stores and stuff, seeing PS3 games that are like somehow now being shown and all this and all that, it was just more like fuel to the fire of, okay, there's obviously something going on here at the same point, or else why would they go through and have the tags of PS3 trophies like on the initial showcase things for their trophy lists, or even regardless of whatsoever? Because even when you go through and check back upon certain PlayStation trophies you have, you're gonna see PS4 stuff, you're gonna see PS5 stuff, obviously, but for say PS3 or even some Vita stuff, you're not going to really see unless you go on to like specific websites in that regards. But I haven't done it in a while. But I think at one point the PS3 trophies were not even showing up for some parts of PS5. But
Hmm.
yeah, it was an article I just put in there just cause just to add a little bit of fuel to the fire. Saying hey, this is more proof potentially that Sony's leading to a Game Pass like alternative at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen this going on a lot the last few weeks now, where like randomly, like, yeah, like PS3 games are showing up in the store, but like, which they've always have, but now they have
Yep.
prices next to them. Um, People are talking about, like, like you said, yeah, like you've seen trophies pop up for like PS3 games, or just weird things like that. And I'm a big fan. I do believe that the what is that? What do they call it? PlayStation
Yeah,
Spartacus, I believe is what
Cody
they're
and
calling it.
Spartacus,
Like
yes.
their Game Pass. Yeah. Um, I do believe that's happening. It's happening soon. Um, the rumor was spring, so gotta assume in the next couple months we'll be hearing
Right.
about it. If it doesn't get delayed or something like that, but I don't know. I just Yeah, it's definitely like this is where like part of me is like smoke where there's smoke there's fire. But I remember like even like years ago, and this has happened to me multiple times now, where on the PS4 where it would just be like PS3 games would pop up as like an option to click on in the store, and then you click on it and then like nothing would happen. And I remember like this happened to me multiple times, and this is like I remember one time even taking a picture of it, sending it to you guys, and it was like, but it just happened to be like right before E3 this happened to
Yeah.
me, and I'm like, oh shit, what if at E3 they announce PS3 games or backwards compatibility, and like nothing came of it, and like it's happened to me probably a dozen times since then. So I wonder if part of it maybe it's just like these weird things that just happen every so often, and maybe they had
Yeah.
before, but no one's really ever noticed them and paid attention to them. But now that this is going on, maybe
Well,
now
it's
we're
funny you
seeing
should
it.
mention that, Tyler,
Um,
because while we were talking, there was another memory I can flash back to, and that was definitely on the PlayStation 3. And this is before PlayStation Now was a thing. And that was when I went onto the page of one of the games that was available on the storefront, which was Catherine. And when I went to go through the buying options, there
Good game.
was a couple of buying options, and one of them was actually the option to stream it or something like that, or download it or whatsoever. And this is on the PS3 storefront, mind you, before PS4 came out and all this stuff. And then not too long after was PlayStation Now, but they went through and announced. And
Yeah.
quite honestly, there are some similarities with some bit of what's being showcased over the past couple of weeks with certain prices being put on the PS3 games and this and that. But at the same point, it's like it's one of those hiccups. It could potentially be like what you were just saying, a hiccup inside of like the little matrix thing of this whole storefront, where okay, well, it was just one crazy ass thing where now it's just PS3 trophies or something like that, being shown and not just like PS4 stuff like they're supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's like if they're doing a Game Pass type thing, why is there a price point next to these
Yes.
things when they should just be on Game Pass? Unless they're going to be like a Game Pass thing where it's like, or like a backwards compatibility thing where I can buy Binary Domain. Great game, by the way. Shout out to that game. I could buy that game, which is a 360 game, on my Xbox
Yes.
Series S. Like, unless that's the way. And like they've had that patent now that that's come out that PlayStation has, where they figure out a way to like, according to this patent, it sounds like maybe they can figure out a way to make PS3 games work on a
Oh,
PS5,
that'd be nice.
which has always been the issue of why we didn't get the backwards compatibility sooner, or at least being able to download PS3 games onto our PS4 because of the way that the PS3 was made. Uh, it's just entirely different from any other consoles that have ever been made before. So they kind of painted themselves into a corner with that one. So I don't know. I mean, I I believe that this thing Spartacus is happening and it's happening soon. I'm just not 100% behind the fact that this is all tied together because we've seen weird shit like this happen over the last
Right.
generation. So, but yeah, it's really weird. It definitely is. There's like a lot of things are piling up
Yep.
right now. It's getting harder and harder to, you know, like maybe the Earth isn't flat after all, Gables. Maybe it's not. Starting to maybe make me think that maybe it's a square. Moving on though. Some other news here. Not a lot going on. Like I said, it's kind of a slow news week. We're in that. It's January. Not a lot happening. Kind of a couple things here. So apparently, it sounds like the next 3 Call of Duty games might be coming to PlayStation. Uh, according to some rumors here, that at least the 2022 and 2023 versions of Call of Duty will be coming to PlayStation, which always kind of assumes, seeing the
Right.
fact that the the acquisition of Activision Blizzard wouldn't be going through until mid next year, um, spring summer of next year. So at that point, you got to assume that even though it comes out in November, that so much work has been done, they'll probably just release it on PlayStation 5. But also, like I talked about last week, PlayStation does have a co-marketing deal with Activision for Call of Duty. We just don't know how long that contract goes on for. And then apparently they are working on a new uh, Warzone 2 or whatever they're going to call it. But the free-to-play battle royale Call of Duty. Apparently they're working on a new version of that. I told my dad about that, and he was actually he was cool with it until I told him the part where um, I guess it would be like its own thing, and that none of the things that they paid for in Warzone, the original Warzone, would come
Oh
over,
shit.
and that pissed
Well,
him off
yeah,
quite a bit.
understandably.
Uh, yeah, which is understandable. Yeah, we understand. Like I understand every year when I buy the new Madden, my franchise doesn't carry over. But if they did like a free to play type one or like a MUT free to play, Madden Ultimate Team free to play version, and then like, oh yeah, we're gonna make a new one. None of the money that you paid over the last X amount of years carries over. I'd be pretty pissed about that too. So yeah. So apparently, I mean, which makes sense if they're doing a new Warzone, it's gonna be free to play. And it would just make sense to put that on everything. Because you want just as many people as possible playing that thing. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, not too much to add on that. I think I really think we're not going to know when that contract ends until they announce that it's exclusive.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to, I really don't foresee us like finding out beforehand. I don't think PlayStation or Xbox is going to say, hey, yeah, the contract's over in 2025. Even if it's like 2035, I bet PlayStation wouldn't say anything. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, anything you got to say on that one,
No, not
Gables?
really.
Okay, damn it. I was hoping you'd give me like 5 seconds so I could take a drink of beer. But so everybody, 5 seconds of silence. I just don't like that beer. Just don't like it. But some other news here. So Crisis 4 has been announced. Uh, kind of small news. We haven't had a new Crisis in like 11 years. I think 2011 was the last
Yeah.
one we had. Um, I remember those days when like Crisis came out and it was just like that game was like extremely mediocre. It was like a 7. I mean, it's not bad, but I remember it just came out and it was like a 7.5 kind of game. That game was so built up because everybody was like, does your PC play Crisis? Because that was like the benchmark of like if your PC could just play Crisis on the minimum excuse me, choke my spit. Uh minimum settings, that you were doing pretty good.
Yep.
And that game came out and it was just like, it's fine. And then like I don't know, I always thought it was funny. And then I remember playing Crisis when they put it on the 360, like Xbox Live Arcade years ago, and it was fine. But I remember like I loved Crisis 2. It's like a badass first person shooter. You're in the super suit. Um, you got like different abilities you can use. It was a very cool, awesome game. One of the other games that red ringed my console, my 360 back in the day. That Medal of Honor, NCAA Football 7 were the three that I remember. I remember out of I think I had like 8 or 9 red rings. Those are the three I can remember. But I remember like playing Crisis 2, and that was the first time I remember like playing a game, and I literally thought my 360 was just gonna take off like a jet out of my fucking living room, because that thing was so fucking loud. I remember Crisis 3 coming out, and that game was just so mediocrely boring that I got to the final boss and like, you know what, I'm good. I just stopped playing it. I was just like,
When is
I'm
the
fine.
last time you've
I don't need
It's
to
like,
play
when was
this
the
game.
last time you've done that where you've actually went to a final boss and you're just like, I'm okay.
I probably can count on like one hand how many times I've done that.
Oh,
I don't even know if I've done that ever. Kingdom Hearts 2, I did that
okay.
with. I just got to the final boss. I'm just like, you know what, I'm good. Uh, yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2 for sure. Um, Crisis 3 is one. Metal Gear Solid, the one with Raiden.
Oh, Metal Gear Solid
The
2.
no. The Ninja
Oh, like
thing.
Revengeance.
Revengeance. I got to the final boss in that one. And I was like, you know what, I'm fine. Uh, I don't know if there's much else. That might be the list. There's probably some other games where I'm just like, yeah, fuck it. But yeah, those are like the three I could think of off the top of my head. But yeah, like I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I like I said, I loved Crisis 2 back when it came out, but it was very much it wasn't nothing amazing, but it was just like a very fun game. And then they just tried to like make a Crisis 3 and it was just like, whatever. I don't know. Uh I'll pay attention to it for sure. Like there's definitely some name in that, but it's just very funny to me. Like the history of Crisis is just hilarious to me. I don't know. I mean, have you ever played the Crisis games before, Gables?
No, not really. I've never actually played like Crisis, the series before. I've always heard the whole like scuttlebutt around, oh, hey, your gaming PC is not a gaming PC if it can't run Crisis on minimum, you know? It's like that type
Yeah,
of shit back then and stuff. But yeah, I followed along in regards to like the whole rating stuff. I heard Crisis 2 was fairly good, Crisis 3 mediocre. The original Crisis was like a PC benchmark even back in like the 2000s. But
yeah,
yeah, I'm not surprised that Crisis 4 is going to be coming out or if it's actually a thing. I actually I actually think it's
yeah.
kind of surprising that it took this long in order for the fourth one to come out. But now we're going to be seeing how this game is going to try to max out fucking PCs.
I just think it's funny that like Crisis went from being like, can your console play Crisis or can your PC play Crisis, to now it's just on Switch. Like that's the world we live in now. Where like Crisis was like this hot shit. Like it was very impressive. It was. I'm not trying to slight it like the way it looked and the way it ran, but now it's just like gaming has gone so far that now it just runs fine on
Yep.
Switch. Like, fuck, that's funny. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I hope it's good. I would like to. I could see myself living in a world where I'm excited for Crisis 4, and I would like to be a part of that world. Um, you know, if it's a world outside of living in one where they put Frank Sinatra in a fucking Final Fantasy trailer, that would be preferred too. What a week for Frank Sinatra. Not only was he in a Final Fantasy trailer, he was in a new episode of yeah, I can't talk, Euphoria,
Okay.
which is a fantastic show that everybody should watch. It's on HBO. But yeah, anyways, that's neither here nor there. This is a video game podcast. But Gable, speaking of video games, we play video games from time to
Yes.
time. You mentioned that you got a chance to play some
Yep.
games. Tell me about it.
All right, so it's piggybacking off of like last week's type of stuff where I did end up finishing up Paper Mario. I did use like a bunch of different
Nice.
save states and stuff. And fun fact, this is actually the first time that I've beaten this game full through, like all the way from beginning to end without the use of a Game Shark. Oh my gosh. Yeah, back in the day when I was younger and stuff and a little bit less experienced in regards to like playing fully through like RPGs and stuff. Yeah, it was interesting to it was interesting time, you know, because I'd use the Game Shark in order to try to play through certain games because I didn't have the mental fortitude to go through and power through some of them. And it's funny looking back at it now because now I can actually go through certain games, like I said, like Ninja Gaiden, like really put in the work in order to try to get these games finished. And now I'm at that point where it's like I want to go back to games that I tried playing through as a kid, but didn't beat it through legitimately. And so, even though I did use save states, I did it because for one reason alone, and that was because of this reoccurring glitch that's on the Switch Online stuff, to where there are certain points where random, I think it's like a random thing, and I'm not sure if Nintendo has actually issued a patch to fix this thing, but for Paper Mario in general, that there are sometimes you have random freezes that would occur and that would erase save data. I fortunately never encountered this type of glitch during my entire, gosh, now that I think about it, it was around like a 20 some odd hour playthrough of Paper Mario that throughout my whole entire playthrough did not encounter any type of like glitches that erased any type of save data that I got. I mostly just kept to save states and stuff. And the best part about it is like getting towards that final hurdle and stuff past chapter 7 after you got through and you've beaten the final boss of that, and then going through the end portion of like chapter 8 and stuff, and realizing, hey, I didn't need to use any type of game sharks, didn't need to use any type of player's guides to get to this point. The only thing I used as a point of reference throughout my entire time playing the original Paper Mario was looking at some tier lists in regards to some of the badges, in which I realized after I got towards the end of the game that there were some badges that I completely missed, and the reason why I missed is because I had Princess Peach pick them up and forgot to put them inside of the freaking chest, the whole chest that transfers it to that one place that next to where Star Haven and stuff is at. And so I initially fucked that up in regards to a couple of badges that I could have had OP like earlier on in the game. But at the same time, it didn't really affect me in regards to my enjoyment of playing through the initial final hurdle of Paper Mario. I mean, chapters 5, 6, and 7 were not that bad. I mean, chapter 5 especially. I mean, going through with go with that flower fields and stuff and face off against the boss like Huff and Puff and stuff. That was not that bad at all. Actually, my whole battle with Huff and Puff revolved around me using the supercharge thing for my jump, and that it's when you get that is initially when you finally get up to like the clouds and this and that, and it's the first badge you literally see once you go up with Mario and stuff up to the clouds. So I got that. I paired it off with a combination of the power bounce, like that whole master dodge badge and stuff, and on top of that there was a couple other badges that I'm not remembering right now, but I literally took about maybe 3 or 4 turns to beat Huff and Puff. And that was me not investing a whole lot in HP. It was mostly my build with Mario was doing flower points, badge points, and yeah, I had like about 40 badge point, yeah, 40 like badge points and stuff. I had like 25, I want to say HP, and for flower points, I think I was close to around 20 at this point. So I had enough to where I could immediately tackle a challenging opponent, but I would survive maybe with about maybe 10 to maybe 5 life points max. So yeah, chapter 5 was fine. Chapter 6, that one was fine as well. I didn't have too many issues with that one. I'm trying to remember which one that was now. What was that? The that wasn't the Yoshi Island. That wasn't the Yoshi's Island one. It was like the that was chapter 4. But chapter 7 went through, and that whole entire thing with the Shiver King and this and that. Yeah, it was a little bit more involved. It was a little bit more like longer in tooth in terms of navigation, considering you had to go through and navigate this ice palace that had you switching, like literally switching back and forth between different types of levels and tiers and stuff from a foreground and a background kind of perspective. And it kind of tricks you a little bit because sometimes you'll think that you're seeing a reflection upon like a screen, like a window or something like that, but in actuality, it's these type of characters that will mimic Mario and is one of his party members and stuff to try to fool you into that. And I kind of love the little tongue-in-cheek thing in regards to a joke where your partner character, you'll literally come face to face with a copycat, like a couple of different copycats where they'll mimic a character. Sometimes your party members, sometimes not so obvious with other characters. Like, oh hey, I'm your like I'm your partner right here, blah blah blah. It's like, don't you remember me? Can't you tell the difference between me? It's like they'll make it fairly obvious that the other characters that are mimicking your party member and stuff, they'll do little quirks and stuff that are just not that recognizable or not that in character with one of your party members. And so I went through, I guess, them right each time. And it's funny, the last one, they make it so overtly obvious that these are fakes that they'll portray certain characters from throughout the game that you've encountered, like, say, your brother Luigi and stuff like that, and like some of the other characters. And it's so funny with that. And they make little cues to that towards the middle portion, the end portion, when you go through Bowser's Castle in Chapter 8, to where one of them will like transform as Princess Peach, and you think, oh, hey, Peach just escaped. Yeah, we can go through that. But progressively, when you try to exit and stuff, her silhouette, her sprite goes like further back and further back and further back up until like she's off the screen, right? And he's like, okay, where'd she go? And she go back, and all of a sudden you see one of the characters not cloaked and stuff. Oh, okay, okay, you're just pretending at this point. So it's like you faced off against these characters, do this and that and stuff. But Chapter 8 was fairly challenging. The final boss with Bowser was actually fairly challenging because you have to manage using the final attack for like the Star Spirits and stuff, which is basically trying to neutralize Bowser's Star Rod. And on top of that, you have to deal with Bowser regenerating his health, which those boss battles are never fun. When you have to face off an RPG battle where the boss will heal himself almost every couple of turns if you're not doing substantial amount of damage to him, yeah, it was so much of an fu sort of moment of just like, okay, I have this battle pretty well scouted out, this final battle, but it's almost like a 15-minute battle now because you wanted to go forth and regenerate your life points and this and that. And what closed off that moment was like I finally got like my partner character. It was literally came out of nowhere to where my partner character actually got through and defeated Bowser with like the last like little attack that they did, and I'm like, oh crap! Hey, I actually got it. It's actually come out of nowhere. It's like you can't see his health unless you use like Goombario's tattle ability, or if you have a badge that actually will you can equip on to. But at the same time, you don't really want to do that because that'll take away precious badge points to where you can use, like, say, like an HP up or like a HP plus or a FB plus or whatever the hell. Now, spoilers, I didn't use any type of like follower points plus badges or something. I just used the HP ones to try to get it up to like about 40 or 45, like without having to use too many level ups. So overall, Paper Mario, my entire playthrough, I was so surprised that I literally blew through it in about a week. Whereas as a kid, I probably took about a couple months because of trying to get shit going with the game, plus experimenting with badges and trying to do this and that, plus using the whole Game Shark thing back then, to try to go through and try to do that. But yeah, I'm happy with that playthrough. And it was kind of funny in the middle of my playthroughs when Banjo Kazooie dropped. And so, of course, I had to play through a bit of Banjo Kazooie as well. And yeah, there's nothing really wrong in terms of the emulation of Banjo Kazooie that I've noticed. No frame rate dips, no weird glitches, no this and that. I'm in the final world of Click Clock Woods, where I have like about, I think, 8 more puzzle pieces in general to collect, plus the slew of music notes. And I'm fairly happy because it's like I went through a bunch of them. I wanted to try to do as fast as possible, which I think the fastest time I actually got in blazing through a world was the first world, Mumbo's Mountain, like 15 minutes. Okay, that's fine. This and that. The longest I think was Rusty Bucket Bay, which I kind of suspected was going to be like about 45 minutes. So overall, I think I'm guessing that the total amount of time I'm going to spend probably playing Banjo-Kazooie and probably completing it will probably be maybe 8 or 9 hours max, which that's not bad. It's not like great at all, but at the same time, I've played through the game multiple times. It's just one of those times where it's like every few years I want to play through a game like Banjo-Kazooie, which I like playing and it's good. But other than that, though, I am definitely craving trying to play some Pokemon Legends Arceus. We'll track down that game pretty soon. If I can't find it in the next day or two, I'm probably gonna order it online or some shit because I don't want to buy it digital. I want to own the physical copy of it. I mean, I could have played it already,
Mm.
but at the same point, I'm like, I really want a physical copy for my Switch because I don't want to take up any more of my space storage and stuff. So, yeah, that's gaming for me this week. But Tyler, the ball is now in your court.
Okay. I played a handful of games this week. I'm just gonna run through real fast before I get to the meat and potatoes. Windjammer 2. Played probably an hour of that. I suck at that game. Rainbow Six Extraction. The game is feels like a 72 on OpenCritic. Which double checking. That's exactly what it is. Nobody Saves the World. I put like 5 hours into
Hmm.
it this week. Very fun. I like the game quite a bit. It is like a dungeon crawler. But the kick is that you play as somebody as name. No, he's a nobody. He doesn't remember who he is. Um, but he finds this wand and he can transform into different forms. It's kind of think of it like
Okay.
Pokemon in one way, which I'll get to Pokemon here in a minute. Uh, where you go through dungeons and you gain experience, but there's like the way you gain experience is like each character has like different things they got to do, like kill X amount of enemies with this, or do X amount of damage with this attack, whatever, blah blah. And then you have an overall like levels you gain. Um, but you have a skill tree that you have like for your characters, but you unlock new forms by getting to unlocking new levels with those
Right.
characters. So sometimes you're a horse, um, or a bodybuilder, or an archer, or a knight, or a turtle, um, or a ghost. It's just a very fun done game. This is a Guacamelee, guys. It's on Game Pass. It just came out last week. Like I said, I put about 5 hours. In this. I really, really, really love this game. I just hit a point where I just kind of got like stuck, and the progression system kind of sucks. Where um, when you're in the main, like there's like a handful of like areas where like it's part of the main story, and when you're in those, you don't unlock new levels, or nothing you do counts towards uh, beating challenges, which is what you need to do to unlock new characters or increase like damage, or increase your overall level for like your stats. And I got stuck in one area in one of the main levels, and like you have to kill so many enemies on a floor before you can go to the next floor. And I finally did it after like the fifth attempt. I got like you had to kill like 100 guys before you can go to the second floor. And there's four floors, and I died on the
Hmm.
third floor, and then I had to redo all three floors over again. And I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Uh, but I actually really really like this game. I know I just need to go grind some more, maybe a little bit, and get better, and maybe work some different stats. If Pokemon Legends Arceus and Horizon and Kirby and Advanced Wars, or Forspoken were on the way in the next few months, I would definitely be this would be definitely a game I'd stick to. But there's just bigger, better games coming out right now that are um, make it challenging. But if you are looking for a game, you have Game Pass. You're looking for like a really fun time sync that's also very fun and worthwhile. Really, really, really like this. I really like this game. Just like I said, there's too many other big games coming out this time of year. That's hard for me. I don't know. I'd like to say that I'll go back to this when I have time, but I probably won't. But I don't want to feel like I'm shitting on the game. And I'm really trying not to, because I actually like that game quite a bit. And it got me 10 points on my Fantasy Critic League. So more reasons like it. But the reason I am here to talk about games this week: Pokemon Legends
Hmm.
Arceus,
Arceus.
whatever, Arceus, whatever. Um, Gables, I want you to ask me two
Okay.
questions. One, what time did I go to bed last night? And two, what time did I wake up this morning?
Okay, so my guess is the time you went to bed last night is probably like around 2 a.m. Then when you woke up, it's probably around 6.
Add an hour to each, 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. You want to know why?
I was so close.
You were.
Why?
I was playing Pokemon Legends Arceus. I got off work
Yeah.
yesterday, sat down, played some Pokemon. It's Saturday night. I was recording as usual. This game came out yesterday. I stopped, picked this up on the way home. I had it pre-ordered. Uh, Gables, I poured myself a pot of coffee.
Mhm.
I drank said pot of coffee, and I played some motherfucking Pokemon Legends Arceus. I would have played more today, but I had to go over help my parents with some house cleaning and shit like that. So, but Gables, as of right now, I am 13 hours in this
Jesus
fucking game.
Christ.
Uh, yeah.
13 hours is not even
Uh,
like a day or two.
if I didn't have to sleep, I've had it for 24 hours. If I didn't have to sleep, watch Royal Rumble, or go help my parents at work, I'd probably be like 24 hours into this
Damn.
fucking thing. Um, I am loving this fucking game,
Hmm.
Gables. I don't want to like overblow it where like this is Breath of the Wild. This isn't game of the generation, but my god, this we talked about this when this first was announced. This is the game that we wanted when we were kids, and it is so fucking close to that game, Gables. I love. There's so many things I love about this game, Gables. And I don't know what. If you got questions, please stop me at any point in time. Ask questions
Okay.
because I got so many things I want to say that I'm probably gonna forget some things I want
All
to say.
right. Would you
Um, I do have
would
some.
okay, I'll
Go
ask
ahead.
one question right there before I let you continue. It's like, do you think that this is a great base for a Pokemon game to build upon?
Yes, my example I was going to use was, and this is an example I used a long time ago when we first started this podcast, 8 9 years
Right.
ago. Watch Dogs. I said Watch Dogs, the first one. Man, this game is so fucking close. Watch Dogs 2 game, and I know it didn't sell as well, but that game was fucking awesome. People loved that game that did play it, and I feel this is Watch Dogs, Gables. This is a Watch Dogs, where this game is so fucking close. I mean, I think it's better than the original Watch Dogs, but you know what I mean. We're like we are so fucking close to what we want. It is on the cusp. Um, yeah, man, I love almost everything about this game. Where I love it's pretty difficult actually. Like you don't want to just go around and fuck around and fight Pokemon and have Pokemon battles. Like there's not really a lot of Pokemon battles. There's barely any, honestly, like with trainers. You're in this world where it's kind of like looked down upon to put Pokemon in Pokeballs. It's even the fact of just owning Pokemon is a new thing. Like you're literally building the first Pokedex. Um, like the whole thing is you're just researching and learning about Pokemon. Um, like really it's very much Pokemon Let's Go, Pokemon Go esque, where really the goal of the game is just catching Pokemon, watching Pokemon, studying Pokemon. Um, you know, where the goal is like each Pokemon has you have the Pokedex you're building, which is literally a notebook because obviously we don't have this is a few hundred years in the past of Pokemon, and each Pokemon has like a level, like a research level 1 through 10, and the goal is to get to level 10, not like battle wise, like you would think of like a Pokemon battling get to 10, but like researching, understanding each Pokemon, get to level 10, where like you have goals you can see. You don't have to do all the goals, but just some of the goals. Um, where catch X amount of versions of these Pokemon, see this Pokemon use this move X amount of times, or battle or defeat this many Pokemon, or I don't know, like or like see this evolve this many forms of this Pokemon kind of
Hmm.
thing. Like like I said, there's like sometimes there's a bunch of things you can do to learn, but like the level cap is 10 for that part, but you don't have to like do every single one of them. You can still get points like, and overall you do have a Pokemon. Like I'm gonna jump around. I'm sorry guys, but there's so much things I want to talk about, and I don't want to forget anything. So I'm gonna jump around. So bear with me. Um, so like I said, you can hit the level cap fairly easy for that research,
Right.
um, but you can still earn points, which you earn points uh, to like up your rank on the Galaxy team, which you're part of the Galaxy team, which is the Galaxy team is the overall story of the game. There's a story to it. I don't really want to go into details. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's good enough that you want to keep going in the game. Uh, but the overarching thing is like the Pokedex. Um, but like you're in this Galaxy team and you like start as like the bottom rank, and the more you learn, the more experience, the more you learn about Pokemon, each individual Pokemon, each evolution of that Pokemon, the more like you catch five versions of this Pokemon. You defeat 10 versions of this Pokemon. You see this Pokemon use strong style 5 times. Like whatever. Like even though you might have maxed out that level of research, um, you still earn points, and you get points which you use to upgrade to get to the next rank of the Galaxy team. I'm like rank 5 right now. There's 10 is the max rank. And think of the ranks for Galaxy team as like gym
Okay.
badges. Um, so like every time you get to a new rank of the Galaxy team, it raises the level of which Pokemon listen to you. So like rank 2, Pokemon up to level 20 will listen to you. Rank 3, 30,
Mm-hmm.
so on and so forth. But there's 10 ranks. There's no dungeons in this thing, at least as far as I've seen. The worlds are semi-open. There's not like one big open world, but there's like different open areas. So every time you're in the city, Jubilee
Yeah.
Stadium or Jubilee City, and it's just like there's a barber shop, there's a clothes shop, there's a crafting area, so now you can like craft. You can still buy and sell things like you get like nuggets, um, the dust, I forget
Bright
what it's
dust.
called, uh, bright dust, yeah. Um, you can still buy and sell things like you can buy Pokeballs, you can or crafting items, but then you can craft Pokeballs and potions and stuff like that. Uh, and like you have like a certain amount of spaces that you can keep in like your satchel that you can hold things. Like you actually have to like uh, you can send Pokemon out. So like there's a tree with berries on it. You actually like throw a Pokeball out. Like you throw your Pokemon out, and it'll hit the like a like headbutt the tree essentially and knock the stuff out. And you don't have to go pick it up. It'll pick it
Oh.
up for you. And cool thing is that you get experience points for doing that with that
Huh.
Pokemon. So you like not a lot, but like a little bit, enough to like it's worth it. But like you'll pick up flowers throughout the world. They use to craft things, or you've like I said, like there's like maybe there's like these like rocks that you can break that will give you things you need to craft Pokeballs or potions or or maybe like you can find berries that you use to distract Pokemon and then it makes it easier to catch them. Um, yeah, there's just there's so fucking much to this game. Like you can battle Pokemon, knock them out, like I said. And there's like what I think I love about this most is like when you do battle or like you do interact with Pokemon, like the act of catching a Pokemon, the act of battling a Pokemon is so fucking fast that like you can battle and do a whole Pokemon battle and be done in
Hmm.
seconds. Or you can catch a Pokemon. Like you're almost better off just like it almost like I don't want to say penalizes you, but you're almost better off just not battling Pokemon. Like it's just more about so much catching Pokemon, and there's like strategies to it, like where you can like if you like hit them with the Pokeball, hit him in the back, it makes it more likely you'll catch them. Or if you want to battle that Pokemon, you throw them in, they don't see you coming. Like you can crouch and hide in the grass, and they can't see you, and you throw it, and they're not looking at you, and hit them in the back. You get the one up advantage, or like now you get to go first. Uh, you get the strong style and the agile style, where like after you have to master a move, which I'm not 100% sure, but like it seems like you have to like use the move so many times that you master it, and
Hmm.
now you can do one of three. You can do a normal move, or you can do an agile move, which it does less damage, but it makes it more likely that you'll get to go again sooner. You get to attack because it's no longer all right. You go, I go, you go, I go. Now you can see like this menu here of like the next 8 moves, and it's like okay, well if I use agile, I could possibly attack 2 times in a row, or maybe I can get three of the next 4, or 2 of the next 3, or it does less damage. Or I could do strong style where I get this attack and then he gets attacked 2 times in a row, but it's gonna do more damage. So it's always a trade off. And it's kind of interesting where like you get into a tougher battle, and it's like because I say 90% of the time it doesn't really matter because like I said most battles are over in seconds. But some battles like there's tougher Pokemon or sometimes like you're battling an actual trainer, uh, where that stuff like you're gonna have 6 7 different turns, uh, and you want to be a little more
Hmm.
strategic about it. And then, like I said, this game is more difficult where like I said like you can't just like go through a dungeon and just grind like Pokemon battles out and just grind levels by battling Pokemon. Like you could, like you will get fucked up real fast, fairly easily. And sometimes like it's cool, like so many different Pokemon, like each Pokemon, like some Pokemon they see you, they run away. Some Pokemon they see you, they attack you. And if they try to decide to attack you, you can't catch them. You gotta fight them. You either gotta run away or you gotta fight them and weaken them to it to catch them if you want to, or you can just knock them out. Uh, and it's way more intelligent. Where like I was talking about like earlier a few months ago, a couple months ago when we were talking about Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pearl, where like I was complaining like it's just so easy. Where like I was knocking out a Thunder type Pokemon with my Water type Pokemon in one hit because I was so over leveled. The game was so branded. You're just tapping A to get to
Yeah.
the next thing. And this one, it's so based off of you actually really need a strategy here. Where like I don't want to just go in like I can't just send my uh I don't know fucking Pikachu in against this Graveler and get away with it. Like no, you gotta put like a water type out there to attack this ground type, or you gotta send you see like a grass type Pokemon, you better send a fire type out because he will fuck you up. And even like if they do have an advantage over you, a normal attack it could do a good chunk of damage to you. Where like I fought Pokemon where like I'm a 38 and they're a 30, and they one hit but I have like even though I might have the advantage on them, like I'm a fire type and they're a water type, and I got a 10 level advantage on you, they'll still one hit KO me, no fucking
Wow.
problem. Like I it, it, it it's not like Dark Souls hard, but it's definitely like you gotta stop and like okay what is that Pokemon weak to again? What does that Pokemon do again? Like for me like that love Gen 1 and 2. And like, there's a lot of different combinations of different gens here, where it's like, I don't really know much about this type. I don't know what the kind of moves they do. I don't know what it's weak against. Things like that. And that's where like doing the research, like maxing out that research level, and these guys are just, I don't know, maybe doing a quick Google search on what this guy is weak against. And like, I've done that a few times where I'm like, I'm about to fight this guy. I better go look it up real fast before I send out the wrong Pokemon and get fucked up. And it does a good job where like you can fast travel back
Hmm.
to like each section you're in has multiple camps you can go to. And there's like you can trade out Pokemon if you want to. There's a shop, there's a guy that you can buy and sell things to. There's like a chest there that you can like put your crafting items. And the nice thing is you don't have to keep the crafting items on you as you go, which is important because you don't have a lot of rooms in your satchel to begin with, and you can still craft things without carrying them around with you, which is often awesome. Um, and like there's like the alpha Pokemon, so if you see Pokemon with red eyes, they're usually a higher level, and they're bigger and stronger than like you might see a Psyduck, um, that is like twice the size of a normal Psyduck. He's got red eyes and he's way more powerful. And you can catch him if you. They're way harder to catch, but if you catch them or defeat them in battle, you're gonna earn a shit ton of experience points. But there's that that yin and yang there where like do you want to get ballsy with it? Do you want to take advantage of it? Uh, and like I said, they can like sometimes they might just attack you straight on. They might attack your character as you go. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if there's any, like I said, there's anything you want to ask, Gables, go ahead and interrupt me. But uh, I'm just having a fucking blast going through this game. Um, there are like a, there are like I said, they're very close to getting what I want. There's a lot of issues. It's on the Switch,
Yeah.
uh, which we talked about a long time ago. Where I'm like, when they first announced this game, like me and a lot of people were like, okay, this pretty much confirms that like the pros coming out, the Switch Pros coming soon because this game looks kind of bad in on this thing like in trailers. There's like the advertisers for this thing. Um, we didn't get it. And I showed Gables a video that I took on my Switch, and I showed him where like there's a Gyarados in the background, like, and it looks like he's moving in like stop
Yep.
motion. Like it's just like skipping frames. It's not even like slowing down to like 10 frames a second. Like it just looks like he's just skipping actual frames. And you see that a lot. Just kind of ugly to look at, which I'm not like trying to be a graphic snob. I'm not like I've talked about before. If this thing just ran at like a solid 30 frames a second all the time, I'd be totally happy with it. I don't need 60. I don't need this thing to be in 4K or even 1080. Just, a solid frame rate and look pretty good, and I'd be fine with that. It struggles a lot at that point, especially when there's a lot going on the screen. Much like like a Breath of the Wild did when that game launched. Like that thing, if a lot of things started happening, all of a sudden those frames dipped to 12. Or like Age of Calamity, that game was one of the worst playing first party games I've ever played on the Switch. Um, like it's not that bad, but it trudges at moments. Uh, just weird choices. Like there's side quests you can do, like a lot of side quests. They're called quests. It's just the way they're laid out. It just is weird. Where like so normally like in most games, like open world games, or you got quests and you would see like okay these people have things they want you to do. You go talk to them, get the quest, and then you go and maybe you do those quests and it'll tell like you go back to the area and like it'll tell you like it'll show on the map or it'll show on your screen like you complete this quest, you can go talk to that guy. But it doesn't do that. So like you have to go like individually go look up all your like side missions you have
Yeah.
open and click on them individually and like then go back to your map and then see okay, where's this guy at? And like can I talk to him? Like it doesn't show you where he is. You like I said, without like going in there like and like clicking on it and checking it and then going to see if like go talk to that guy to find out if you've done that mission, if you've done a good enough job, or like if you completed it, or even where he is.
Mm.
Um, just very like 2 generations ago uh, of options of like this is like 6 steps to complete a quest. Or like that shit we would have done in like that was shit that like died off in the 360 era. Or like there's a bulletin board where you can pick up side missions. And normally you would just go to that like most open world games, you go to that bulletin board, you pick up that side mission. Now you have the side mission. No, in this game, you pick up the side mission, but to actually get the side mission, then you have to go talk to that
Mm-hmm.
person to get the side mission. And it doesn't tell you where that person is
Oh, here we go.
to get that side mission. You got to find the person, or like I said, go and make that your goal to do. Like that's your main mission. Then it'll show you on the map if you're in the area, if you're in that section where he is, and then you go talk to him. Then it will give you the side. Like so many weird like why is this the thing? Going then like after you complete the
Right.
mission, then you have to go back and talk to them and tell them you did the mission. Like I understand this takes place in the long, long ago, before like Pokedexes and phones were a thing. But it's like we've grown past this. Like don't make me do this. Don't make me go leave what I'm doing to go complete this quest. Just complete the fucking quest when I complete the quest. Um, I don't know. Just a lot of like it's just a lot of like minor inconveniences that kind of like trudged away through this game
Mm.
sometimes. Um, yeah, like I don't know, like I'm all over the map in this game. Where like I so badly hope we get a sequel to this because like I said, if this comes out on the Switch Pro, the Switch 2, whatever, and just looks a little bit better but runs a solid 30. Like I said, that's bottom of my issues. But this game is so fucking close to being like game of the generation level. Like we're there, Gables.
Mm.
We are so fucking there. Like Breath of the Wild is like that's S tier kind of shit, like game of generation thing. This is like B plus tier kind of game. Where like we are within sniffing distance
Mm.
of being what we want this thing to be. The game that when we were a kid in 1996, 97, playing Pokemon Red and Blue for the first time, like losing our fucking minds. This is the game we dreamt of,
Mm.
and we are so goddamn close. And I hope to God they don't take the wrong message from this of like the complaints and like, okay, well we're not gonna do that again. Like I hope they like take the criticism and are like, okay, cool. Well, they love this. They didn't really care for that, and to build upon that. I just don't want them to fully go back to what we know of Pokemon and hope that this is the future of Pokemon. because this is what I want. Like it's not perfect. Like I don't I don't know like I don't love the idea of like grinding to like I don't know, it's tough because like I don't want being an old time to be like every game, but like the idea of this is what I want. I would love a modern day of what we see from most Pokemon games of this. Um, where like, we actually have Pokedexes and we live in the modern day kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm just all over the map. We're like I don't know. I've seen reviews all over the place on this one, and I definitely see it because I'm all over the place on this one. I'm not like an IG in Italy giving it a 5 out of 10, uh, but I'm also not giving it like a 9.5 out of 10 kind of thing. Like I'm definitely in that 8ish range on this one, Gables. But man, like I said, it's so fucking close. Uh, I will say this though: if this wasn't Pokemon, this was any other game, I probably wouldn't give a shit about it. I probably wouldn't even like it. Immediately so. But the fact that it's Pokemon, and I have that fanboy in me to a certain extent, um, I love it.
Hmm.
Um, I don't want to stop playing it. I want to keep playing it. Uh, like I said, if I had my parents out sleeping and watching the Royal Rumble weren't a thing, I'd have a lot more time playing this thing. Um, yeah. I don't know if there's anything else you want to ask, Gables, or if there's anything else.
Well, not really
Um,
much like questions or something I want to ask. There's just one thing that does cycle inside my mind, and it's referring to what I said earlier, a question that I earlier, and you said yes, that this is definitely like a base that's going to be built upon and this and that. Started thinking about it. It's like we've heard rumors even before Legends Arceus was a thing to where there was like this new type of foray they were going to attempt to go through for like the next mainline Pokemon games and stuff. And considering that there are rumblings that they are considering this game kind of like a mainline sort of Pokemon game in general, Legends Arceus and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I just watched the next major generation of Pokemon games. Probably the next new one is probably going to be something similar to this. And hopefully it's going to be like on a next Switch system or even like a
Yeah.
updated Switch system that runs consistently and built upon what you have just described to me. Without even playing it, I know this is something I'm going to be wanting to play, but yeah, hearing what you've already gone through and what you've already accomplished and spending 13 hours playing this game like in the span of like a day and a half of owning it, yeah, that gives me good feelings about
A
that.
day. A
Yeah,
day. 24 hours.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I would say this. Like, you could see, like, them building to this with, like, the wild area and Sword and Shield, the Let's Go games. Um, like, uh, just think of Let's Go, the open areas, the wild area, whatever it was called in Sword and Shield, and they try to put that in Breath of
Yeah.
the Wild. And this game so badly wants you to think you're Breath of the Wild. Like the new trailer they put out, they put like a 3 minute trailer out earlier this week, um, and they try to hit on everything you could think of Breath of the Wild. And that's something we talk about over and over again. Like that original trailer, like you walk out and you're standing on top of like a cliff, the piano flutters, and it's like you can see the whole fucking world. Like they so badly want you to think this is Breath of the Wild. You're walking around the world every now and again. You just be walking, and then you just hear like the wind blow, the piano flutters. You're like, oh man, this is Breath of the Wild. It feels like Breath of the Wild. Like they do a very good job of like trying to put you in there. I think sometimes to its to a bad place though, where it's like it reminds you like you're not Breath of the Wild yet, but you're close. It's like, you see that mountain over there. Well, you can't go there. It's not like Breath of the Wild where like you see that over there, you can go there. This ain't Breath of the Wild where it's like you see that cliff that's got a 2 foot incline. You can't go off that cliff. You see that water over there. You can't go in that water. Like, you know, there's they. You see that? You have this fire type Pokemon, and there's that grass right there. You can't set it on fire. Uh, oh, it's raining outside. You think your Thunder Pokemon will be more powerful? No, it's not. Uh, yeah, they do it. They like I said, sometimes to its detriment. They try to tell you it's Breath of the Wild, but man, like I said, I keep saying it, and I'm gonna keep saying it. They're so fucking close,
Oh
Gables.
my
They
god.
are so.
Well, you're
I
just
I don't know. I don't know if it's game of the year contender. I don't think it is. But that if they build upon this and they do what they think they can do, it's game of the generation.
Oh my god. I just got this mental image, man, when you describing like the different types of elements that would make it Breath of the Wild ish, and the whole example of like you see that field of grass setting, you could set the damn field on fire. I can just imagine you going into like with your fire Pokemon. It's like, oh, here's a bunch of Oddish right here. It's like, I wonder what happens if I do this. Like, oh my god, they're all on fire.
Yeah. Or like or you have like a Steelix and it's like lightning out and he fucking gets shocked by lightning in the middle of a battle.
Yeah,
God.
and it just no sells it whatsoever. It's like, uh.
He's like, I'm immune to it. I'm fine. This is fine. Yeah. Or you just like riding in the water with the fucking Gyarados. You get shot by lightning. It kills you all. Yeah. But like I said, it's man. I mean, keep playing more of it. I'm really liking it. I've heard. I did do some minor searches without spoiling anything for myself. Uh, where there's like two endings to this game.
Oh.
There's two credits that roll. There's the main story, and there's if you want to do everything story. And I looked up what you have to do the second part. And fuck that. Screw that, Gables. Uh, it looks real bad. Yeah. So I heard you could beat the game in about 25, 30 hours. Um, Depending on how much grinding you do, obviously. But if you want to do everything, if you want to do the final ending, you got to put like 60
Ah.
hours into it, which no thanks. But yeah, that's everything I've been playing. Definitely be talking about more next week. Gables, hopefully you can find yourself a copy here soon.
Yeah.
Because I think you'll love this game. And I can't wait to hear you talk about it. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for us this week, guys. Like all that, please like, follow, subscribe. We're everywhere. iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. You name it, we're on it. Please leave us, like I said, leave us reviews, 5 stars, thumbs ups, comments, shares. Shares is the big one. Subscribe, follow, whatever. I really would appreciate it. But I was your host.
And I have been Colonel Gables. Until next time, everyone, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds podcast.
And
Yep.
hey, Gables.
Too sweet, man.
Bye,
See
guys.
ya.